Humanity's dark matter fleet sends shockwaves across the Galactic Council. The stars stretched endlessly around the research vessel, Intrepid Dawn. It moved quietly through a remote sector of space that few humans had ever explored. Captain Luke Harper stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the deep black of the void. He felt a mixture of excitement and unease. The galaxy was vast, and humans were still small players, but that had not stopped him from pushing the limits. Luke was a man of strong build, with short brown hair and a calm presence that drew people to follow him. He had been trained to make decisions quickly and think clearly under pressure. Behind him, the crew moved with quiet efficiency. Each of them had a purpose, and Luke trusted them. Dr. Olivia Grant, the lead scientist, was reviewing the readings from the sensors. She had bright eyes and an energy that never seemed to fade, even in long shifts. Alex Morgan, the ship's engineer, was making adjustments in the control room, his fingers moving over the touch panels with practiced speed. Every person aboard had a skill that mattered, and every skill mattered in this part of space. The Intrepid Dawn approached the coordinates of a strange anomaly. The sensors had picked it up days ago, but the readings were inconsistent. The anomaly was located near a dead star system, a place where no life had existed for millions of years. The planets were cold, and the asteroids floated in silence. But the readings hinted at something unusual. Dark energy fluctuations were off the charts, and the energy signature was unlike anything recorded in human space. "Captain, the readings are stable," Olivia said, her voice carrying a mix of excitement and caution. "It is a naturally occurring dark matter rift, but it is unstable. If we get too close, it could damage the ship." Luke nodded. "We will stay at a safe distance for now. I want a full analysis before we make any decisions. Alex, make sure all shields are at maximum. We cannot risk the core being affected." Alex glanced up from his console. "Shields are at full, Captain. All systems are monitoring the rift. But I have to say, this is unlike anything we've seen. Dark matter energy this concentrated is dangerous. I don't know if we should even try to approach it." Luke looked at him calmly. "Danger is part of exploration, Alex. We will be careful, but we cannot ignore this. If we understand it, we may gain an advantage that no other species has." The crew moved silently as the ship adjusted its course. The rift was a dark scar in space, a twisting, shimmering void that seemed to bend the stars around it. Luke watched the view screens, feeling both awe and fear. This was not just another star system. This was a place where nature itself seemed to defy rules. Olivia studied the readings carefully. "The energy in the rift is immense. If we can stabilize it, it could be used for propulsion or weapons, but it is very volatile. One mistake and the entire sector could be affected." Luke turned to her. "We are not going to make mistakes. Gather all data. I want charts, simulations, and risk reports. Every possibility must be known before we proceed." The crew worked in quiet intensity. The sensors scanned the rift, sending streams of data to the lab. Olivia's team mapped the energy flows, trying to understand the chaotic patterns. Luke walked to the main console, looking at the stars. Humanity had always been underestimated in the galaxy. Other species thought humans were weak, unpredictable, or primitive. But Luke believed that humans had something no one else had: ingenuity, courage, and the willingness to take risks others would not. Hours passed. The readings were difficult to interpret. The rift seemed to shift in response to the ship's presence. Small energy pulses radiated outward, and the sensors struggled to keep up. Olivia frowned. "Captain, I am seeing fluctuations that are unusual. The rift is responding to our presence, but not in a predictable way. It's almost as if it is alive or aware of us." Luke raised his eyebrows. "Alive? How can a dark matter rift be alive?" "I don't know," Olivia admitted. "But the energy patterns are changing in ways that suggest interaction. It could be natural, or it could be something we don't understand. Either way, it is powerful." Alex joined them at the console. "I agree with Olivia. This is not a typical phenomenon. I have never seen anything like it. But if we can control even a fraction of this energy, we could build ships faster than light and weapons that no other species could match." The potential is enormous. Luke felt a thrill. He had always known that humans needed an edge. In the past, humans had survived against threats that were much stronger, much larger, and more advanced. Now they had a chance to create something that no one would expect. He turned to the crew. We are not going to rush, but we are going to study this rift carefully. Every observation, every calculation could be the key to humanity's future. Are you with me? Murmurs of agreement came from the team. Olivia and Alex nodded firmly. Even the younger crew members, including pilot Mason Reed and communications officer Clara Hughes, looked determined. Mason had a steady hand and quick reflexes. Clara had a sharp mind and could think on her feet. Together, the team had everything they needed to face danger and uncertainty. Over the next few days, the crew focused entirely on the rift. The sensors gathered data, and Olivia built computer models to simulate its behavior. Alex worked on theoretical designs that could harness the energy safely. Luke coordinated the efforts, ensuring that the team stayed efficient and careful. They slept in shifts, ate quickly, and rarely left the bridge. Every second counted. Then something unexpected happened. The rift pulsed, sending a wave of energy toward the ship. The shields absorbed most of it, but the lights flickered and alarms sounded. Crew members rushed to their stations, ready to respond. "Shields are holding, Captain," Alex reported. "No major damage." But the pulse was stronger than anything we expected. Olivia's eyes were wide. "The rift is testing us. It reacted to our presence. It is like it is aware. This is unprecedented." Luke took a deep breath. "We have to stay calm. We observe, we record, we analyze, nothing more. We cannot panic or rush. This is the opportunity of a lifetime, but it will only work if we are careful." The crew nodded, though tension filled the room. Everyone felt the weight of responsibility. This was not just another mission. This was a chance to change humanity's place in the galaxy. In the following days, the team developed a method to safely probe the rift. Small drones, controlled from the ship, were sent near the edge. They collected samples of energy fluctuations and sent them back for analysis. The readings were astonishing. Dark matter energy could be stabilized, manipulated, and potentially used for propulsion. It could also be used as a weapon far beyond conventional lasers or missiles. Luke felt a surge of pride and excitement. Humanity had always been underestimated. Now they had a tool that could give them power that no one expected. He knew that other species in the Galactic Council would be shocked if humans revealed this technology. But for now, secrecy was key. The crew continued their work, mapping the rift, recording fluctuations, and running simulations. Even small successes brought hope. Olivia developed a model that could predict short-term energy changes. Alex designed a containment system for small samples of dark matter energy. Mason tested navigation patterns that could safely move ships near the rift. Clara coordinated communications and kept everyone focused. Weeks passed. The intrepid Dawn became a floating laboratory. The crew ate little, slept little, but they did not complain. They were driven by the knowledge that they were touching something extraordinary. Humans had always relied on creativity, courage, and determination to survive in a galaxy that often underestimated them. Now they were on the edge of mastering a force that no one else could understand. One evening, Luke stood at the bridge window, looking at the swirling black and violet of the rift. Olivia joined him, holding a tablet with the latest readings. "Captain, if we can stabilize even a portion of this energy, we could build a fleet that moves faster than light, that has weapons no other species can match," she said quietly. Luke nodded. "I know, Olivia, and that is why we must be careful. Power this great is dangerous. We cannot let mistakes happen, but we also cannot let fear hold us back. Humanity has survived and thrived because we take risks others would not. This is our chance to prove it again." Olivia smiled faintly. "I believe we can do it. The calculations are promising. But it will take time, patience, and precision." Luke turned back to the view of the rift. "Then we give it time, we study it, we learn it, and when the moment comes, we will use it wisely. Humanity will not be ignored in the galaxy, not now, not ever." The stars seemed to shine brighter as the intrepid Dawn drifted near the dark matter rift. Luke and his crew felt the weight of possibility pressing on them. They were ordinary humans with extraordinary courage, standing at the threshold of a power that could change everything. And far away, unseen by humans, the sensors of the Galactic Council flickered with faint readings from the edge of known space. Alien scouts noticed the anomaly. They had not expected humans to reach this far. They did not know what humans were doing, but soon they would. Luke did not yet know it, but this discovery would send shockwaves across the galaxy. It would make humans feared and respected. and it would mark the beginning of a new chapter in the history of mankind, one where humans were no longer small, overlooked, or weak. They were a force that others would have to reckon with. For now, the intrepid Dawn floated in silent vigilance. The rift pulsed, a strange and dangerous heartbeat in the void. The crew worked, studied, and dreamed. Humanity's path was changing, and Luke Harper was ready to lead the way. The intrepid Dawn returned to human-controlled space after weeks near the dark matter rift. Captain Luke Harper knew that what they had discovered could change everything. He gathered his crew in the main conference room. Olivia Grant, Alex Morgan, Mason Reed, Clara Hughes, and a few engineers sat around the table, their faces a mix of excitement and exhaustion. "Everyone," Luke began, "we have seen what the rift can do. We know its power. But now it is time to take the next step. We need to turn this knowledge into action. Humanity cannot wait. If other species in the Galactic Council hear about this first, we will be at a disadvantage. We have the chance to build a fleet unlike any the galaxy has seen." Olivia leaned forward. "Captain, this is not just about ships. Containing dark matter energy is extremely dangerous. Even a small miscalculation could destroy a ship or a star system. We need to proceed carefully." Luke nodded. "I know the risks, Olivia. But we will not rush blindly. We will build prototypes. We will test them in controlled conditions. And we will make sure that humanity survives every step of the way." Alex, always practical, spoke next. "We can build a small test vessel with a dark matter core. I can design the containment system, but it will take time. The materials need to withstand pressures we have never faced, and the energy output is enormous. Even small leaks could be catastrophic." "Then we take the time," Luke said firmly. "We do it right the first time. We do not waste lives or resources. Mason, Clara, you will help with simulations and tactical planning. We need to know how a fleet would move, how it would fight, and how it would survive." Mason nodded. "We can run training drills with drones. It will help us understand maneuvering in extreme conditions." Clara added, "And I can track communications and potential sensor patterns. If we build the fleet, we also need to make sure it cannot be detected easily. We need stealth, speed, and flexibility." With the plan set, the team returned to work. The first step was building a prototype vessel. Alex worked with his engineers to construct a small, unmanned ship that could hold a sample of dark matter energy. The lab was filled with machines humming and lights blinking. Every measurement had to be precise. Even a tiny mistake could be deadly. Olivia oversaw the energy experiments. She designed simulations to test stability and predict dangerous surges. Each test was recorded, analyzed, and corrected. Luke monitored progress, ensuring safety and coordination. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, the prototype took shape. It was small but powerful. The containment core glowed faintly, a deep violet light that seemed alive. When the first test drone moved near the rift, the energy reacted violently, but the new design held. "It worked," Alex said, relief in his voice. "The containment is stable. We can now think about building full-sized vessels." Luke allowed himself a small smile. "Good work, Alex, but this is just the beginning. We now have the technology, but we need strategy. We need ships, crews, and tactics. The Galactic Council cannot know about this yet. We build in secret and we build fast." Mason and Clara ran the first simulations of fleet movement. Drones maneuvered around asteroids, through dense radiation fields and near energy storms. Every pattern was recorded, every potential weakness noted. The team discovered that dark matter propulsion allowed sudden bursts of speed, sudden changes in direction, and even temporary phasing through weak shields. "This is incredible," Mason said. "No one else can do this. Not even the Council's fastest ships can move like this." Clara added, "We need to make sure we are ready for battle. They may not notice us at first, but if they do, we need to know how to defend ourselves. Strategy is as important as technology." Luke nodded. "Exactly. Technology without strategy is useless. We train, we plan, and we prepare. Humans have survived by thinking differently, by seeing opportunities where others see danger. That is our advantage, and we will use it." The human team continued to expand their project. They recruited more engineers and scientists, all skilled in their fields. Everyone worked in shifts around the clock. Supplies were delivered secretly, and materials were tested repeatedly. The prototype vessels became larger, faster, and more powerful. One evening, as Luke walked through the shipyard, he observed the progress. Several vessels now sat on launch pads, their dark matter cores glowing softly. The sight was both beautiful and intimidating. Olivia approached him with a tablet. "Captain, we have calculated the potential of these ships in combat. If a fleet of 6 vessels moves together, we could outmaneuver and outgun any Council patrols in this sector. But we must consider the ethical implications. Using dark matter as a weapon could be catastrophic. Even a small misfire could destroy planets." Luke looked out at the ships. "Olivia, I understand your concern, but these ships are our shield. Humanity cannot wait for permission or approval from species that underestimate us. We will not attack without reason, but we will defend ourselves. If the Council threatens humanity, these vessels will be our answer." Alex joined them, wiping sweat from his brow. "The core designs are complete. We can scale up to full fleet size. Each vessel will be self-sufficient and capable of long-term missions. We have tested propulsion, navigation, and weapons systems in simulations. The only unknown is actual combat conditions, but we have to face reality sooner or later." Luke nodded. "Then we proceed. Build the fleet, train the crews, and prepare for any eventuality. Humanity's future may depend on this. We cannot fail." Over the next months, the hidden shipyards were filled with activity. Crew members trained relentlessly. Mason piloted the test vessels, practicing high-speed maneuvers and evasive tactics. Clara ran communication drills, ensuring secure channels and coded signals. Engineers monitored the dark matter cores, performing constant maintenance. At times, tension ran high. Accidents happened, and near misses reminded everyone of the danger. A small vessel's core destabilized during a test, sending a shockwave that damaged nearby machinery. The crew worked together to contain the situation. Luke praised their quick thinking. "Humans survive because we stay calm in crises. Remember that. Our strength is in our mind as much as our machines." Despite the risks, the fleet grew. From prototypes, the engineers expanded to larger vessels capable of carrying crews, weapons, and supplies for extended missions. Each ship was tested repeatedly, then modified and improved. The fleet began to take shape, a small but formidable armada designed to change the balance of power in the galaxy. Luke called the crew together one evening as the first 5 full-sized ships stood ready for final testing. The hangar was filled with soft hums from engines, and the cores glowed with a faint violet light. Crew members looked at each other, sharing the mix of fear and pride that came with such responsibility. "You have all done incredible work," Luke said. "We started with an idea, a dangerous rift in the void. We faced risks, doubts, and dangers, but look at what we have accomplished. These vessels are more than ships. They are proof that humanity can survive and thrive in a galaxy that often underestimates us." Olivia spoke quietly. "Captain, the technology is stable, but we must remember that other species may act if they discover our work. We need to be prepared for diplomacy or conflict." Luke smiled faintly. "We are prepared, and if conflict comes, we will be ready. Humans are not the weakest species. We are not slow, predictable, or weak. We think differently, we act differently, and that is our strength." Mason grinned. "Can't wait to test them in real space. These ships are amazing. We could outmaneuver anything out there." Clara added, "And we have the advantage of secrecy. The Council doesn't know what we are capable of. That gives us time to perfect our strategy." Luke nodded, feeling pride for his team. They had started as a small crew on a single ship, exploring a dangerous anomaly. Now they commanded a growing fleet, built with human ingenuity, courage, and persistence. The dark matter cores hummed softly, a reminder of both power and responsibility. He walked to the bridge of the largest vessel. From the view screens, he could see the hangar, the other ships, and the engineers working tirelessly. He felt a quiet thrill. This fleet could protect humanity, and perhaps even ensure that humans would not be ignored in the galaxy. As night fell on the hidden shipyard, Luke Harper looked at the stars. The galaxy was vast and dangers were everywhere. But humans had something that others did not: boldness, creativity, and the willingness to face the unknown. The fleet would soon be ready. And when it was, humanity would send a clear message. The species that others underestimated was now a force to be reckoned with. Luke knew challenges lay ahead. The Galactic Council would eventually notice, and other species might try to interfere. But for now, he allowed himself a moment of pride. The fleet was real, the crew was trained, and the dark matter cores were stable. Humanity had taken the first step toward changing its place in the galaxy forever. The human fleet was ready. Luke Harper stood on the bridge of the largest ship, the flagship of the Armada. The other vessels were aligned behind him, their dark matter cores glowing faintly, humming like living energy. Every crew member was at their station, focused and alert. The sensors had detected movement in the outer sector, Galactic Council patrols approaching. Luke turned to Mason Reed, the lead pilot. "Mason, I want you ready for anything. They may think we are small, weak, or unprepared. We will prove them wrong." Mason nodded. "Understood, Captain. The ships can move faster than anything they have. We'll make them regret underestimating us." Clara Hughes, the communications officer, spoke next. "Captain, Council ships are on intercept course. They are heavily armed. They may try to negotiate, but I don't trust them. We need a plan in case they attack." Luke's eyes narrowed. "We have a plan. Stick to it. We will avoid unnecessary risk, but we will not back down. Humanity survives by being bold and smart. That is what makes us different." "We are ready." The Council vessels came into view. They were larger than human ships and heavily armored, their weapons glinting in the void. The alien crews seemed confident, expecting an easy victory. They did not know what humans had built. They did not understand the dark matter cores and the strange abilities they gave the ships. Luke ordered the fleet to move forward. The ships glided silently, their dark matter engines leaving faint ripples in space. The Council fleet noticed the humans and slowed slightly, underestimating them. That was the advantage Luke had been waiting for. "Now, Mason," Luke said calmly. "Full speed, use the dark matter bursts, stick to the plan." Mason's hands moved quickly over the controls. The human vessels surged forward. The dark matter engines allowed sudden bursts of speed, phasing in and out of normal space. The Council ships fired their weapons, but their targeting systems could not adjust fast enough. Humans moved unpredictably, slipping past their defenses. Olivia Grant, monitoring the energy flows, called out, "Captain, the cores are stable. Weapons are ready. We can strike with precision without harming ourselves." Luke nodded. "Do it. Target their command vessels first. Take out leadership, then we move on their fleet." Alex Morgan coordinated the energy discharge. "Dark matter pulses are locked on. Ships are ready to fire. Timing is critical." The first human strike hit. Dark matter weapons phased through the shields of the lead Council ship, collapsing sections of its hull. Explosions lit up the void as the vessel spun out of control. The rest of the Council fleet hesitated, shocked by the power of the human strike. Luke stayed calm. "Keep moving. Focus on strategy, not fear. We fight smart, not just hard." Mason guided the ships through tight formations, avoiding concentrated fire. Dark matter propulsion allowed sudden jumps, confusing enemy targeting. The human fleet seemed to appear in multiple places at once, attacking, then retreating, then striking again. Clara's fingers flew over the console, sending commands and monitoring enemy communications. "Captain, they are trying to regroup, but their formations are breaking down. They do not know how to counter our speed and unpredictability." Luke allowed himself a small smile. Humans had always survived because they thought differently. The Council expected straight moves, predictable patterns, and force they could calculate. Humans were nothing like that. "Alex, prepare the secondary strike," Luke ordered. "We take out their reinforcements before they reorganize." The second wave of attacks struck with precision. Dark matter pulses tore through the hulls of enemy vessels. Some ships collapsed into themselves, their energy cores destabilized by the strange human technology. The Council had never seen weapons like this. They had never imagined a species so small could destroy so much. Mason maneuvered the fleet expertly. Each jump, each phase, confused the Council ships further. Even their most advanced fighters could not keep up. One by one, enemy vessels were disabled or destroyed. The human fleet moved like a single living organism, each ship anticipating the others, each strike perfectly timed. Luke watched the battle unfold on the view screens. Pride filled him, but he kept his focus. "Do not let success make you careless," he warned. "We fight smart always, protect each other and maintain formation. Humans survive because we are prepared for anything." Clara's voice broke through the hum of battle. "Captain, they are sending a larger cruiser. It's bigger than anything we have faced. Weapons are heavy and shields are strong. We need a plan." Luke considered quickly. "We use our advantage, speed and unpredictability, split into two groups. One group distracts the cruiser, the other moves in to strike weak points." "Mason, take the lead group. Olivia, Alex coordinate secondary fire. Clara manage comms. Timing is everything. The plan was executed perfectly. Mason led the lead group, weaving around the massive cruiser's weapons. The human ships phased in and out, appearing in unexpected positions. The enemy fired continuously, but missed every critical shot. The smaller human vessels were too fast, too clever, too unpredictable. The second group moved in on the cruiser's weak points. Dark matter weapons tore through the hull, collapsing sections in rapid succession. The cruiser, confident and powerful, was overwhelmed by tactics it could not anticipate. Within minutes, it was disabled, drifting in space as alarms blared. Luke allowed himself a deep breath. Humanity's fleet had won its first major engagement, but he knew this was only the beginning. Other Council fleets would soon arrive. Humans could not rely on surprise forever. The Council ships that survived began to retreat, wary of further losses. Their communications were frantic. They had underestimated humans. They had assumed that a small fleet of human ships could be easily defeated. Now they faced a reality they had never expected. Humans were dangerous, brilliant, and relentless. Olivia looked at Luke, her eyes wide. "Captain, they will not stop here. The Council will send more fleets. They will want to know how we did this. They may send spies or assassins." Luke nodded. "Let them come. Humans survive because we adapt. We fight smarter, move faster, and take risks others cannot imagine. This is just the first step. We have shown what we can do. We have made our mark." Alex spoke next. "The cores are still stable, Captain. Weapons are ready. We can continue fighting if needed." "We can hold our ground," Mason grinned. "And we can move faster than anything they have. They won't catch us if we stay smart," Clara added. "The communications show panic across their command. Reports of our fleet are spreading. Humans are being noticed. We are becoming a factor they cannot ignore." Luke looked at the stars, feeling a mixture of pride and determination. Humanity had always been underestimated, always seen as weak or unimportant. But now the galaxy was starting to understand something different. Humans were bold, creative, and willing to risk everything to survive. He turned to his crew. "This battle is over, but the war is only beginning. We have shown what humans can do. We have taken the first step toward ensuring our survival and our place in the galaxy. We fight with our minds as well as our ships. Remember that. And remember, humanity never gives up." The crew felt a surge of pride. They had faced a powerful enemy and succeeded against all odds. Every member of the fleet understood that they were part of something larger than themselves. They were not just soldiers or engineers. They were pioneers, defenders of humanity, and the harbingers of a new era. As the human fleet regrouped, Luke called for status reports. Every vessel reported minor damage, nothing that could not be repaired. The dark matter cores remained stable, a testament to Alex's careful engineering and Olivia's precise calculations. The fleet was intact, ready for the next challenge. The Council's retreating ships faded into the distance. Luke knew they would return and they would not come alone. But he also knew that humans had an advantage they could not match: creativity, ingenuity, and the courage to take risks that others would not. The stars stretched endlessly around them, and Luke Harper felt a quiet thrill. Humanity had survived its first battle with the dark matter fleet. But more importantly, they had proven something to the galaxy. Humans were not to be ignored, underestimated, or dismissed. They were a force capable of changing the balance of power. And far away in Council sectors, alien commanders were beginning to spread the warning. A new threat had emerged. A small species, underestimated for centuries, had struck with power and precision. The humans were different. They were dangerous. Luke stood on the bridge watching the stars. He knew challenges lay ahead, but for now he allowed himself a moment of pride. The fleet had survived, had triumphed, and had sent shockwaves across the Galactic Council. Humanity's journey was far from over, but one thing was clear. The galaxy would never forget the name of Luke Harper or the fleet he commanded. They had begun something new, something unstoppable. And humans would continue to rise. The news of humanity's dark matter fleet spread like wildfire through the galaxy. Across Council sectors, alien commanders and diplomats spoke in hushed tones, trying to understand what humans had achieved. Reports described vessels that moved faster than thought possible, weapons that tore through shields, and a species that fought with creativity and intelligence no other could match. Luke Harper stood on the bridge of the flagship, his eyes on the stars. The fleet had returned to human space, fully repaired and ready for anything. The victory against the first Council patrol had given them confidence, but Luke knew that the real challenge lay ahead. The Council would respond, and when it did, they would not come alone. Olivia Grant approached, holding a tablet filled with new intelligence. "Captain, we have reports from the edges of known space. Several Council sectors are calling an emergency summit. They are trying to coordinate a response. They want to know how we did this and how to stop it." Luke nodded. "They are finally noticing us. Good. Let them understand that humans cannot be ignored, but we must remain cautious. The Council is large, and other species may join against us if they feel threatened." Alex Morgan entered from the engineering deck. "Cores are stable, Captain. All systems are at maximum efficiency. We can continue operating at full power for extended periods. The fleet is ready for any action." Mason Reed, leaning against the console, grinned. "I can't wait to see them try to catch us. No one moves like our ships. No one can predict what we'll do next." Clara Hughes tapped on her console. "Captain, communications channels show panic among Council diplomats. They are debating whether to negotiate or attack. Some want to learn from us, others want to eliminate the threat. The Council is divided." Luke turned, his expression calm but determined. "Division works in our favor. We survive because we think differently, because we act differently. If the Council cannot decide what to do, that gives us time to prepare. Time is our ally." Weeks passed as the fleet patrolled human territories and nearby unclaimed space. Luke oversaw training exercises and strategic simulations. The crews became experts at dark matter propulsion, precise weapons deployment, and tactical maneuvers no other species could anticipate. One evening, Olivia approached Luke quietly. "Captain, the simulations show that if the Council sends a full fleet against us, even with combined forces, our strategies could give us the upper hand. But the situation is delicate. If they unite fully, the outcome could be uncertain." Luke studied the stars. "We do not need to provoke them unnecessarily. We show strength, but we do not attack without cause. Humans are not reckless. We survive by planning, by adapting, and by making every move count." Alex added, "Captain, I've upgraded the cores. Ships can sustain longer jumps and more energy discharges. We can hold out even if they send multiple fleets." Luke nodded. "Excellent. Keep the fleet ready. Humans must be prepared not just for defense, but for influence. This is our moment to show that we are a species that matters in the galaxy." The first Council envoy arrived in human space, a single diplomatic vessel, unarmed but heavily shielded. It hovered at the edge of human territory, sending repeated requests for communication. Luke met with the crew in the conference room. "This is our first contact since the fleet's victory. They may want peace or they may be spying. We must be careful. Olivia, Mason, Clara, prepare protocols. Alex, ensure all systems are ready for a sudden attack." "We proceed with caution." Olivia opened the communication channel. A holographic figure appeared, a tall, green-skinned alien with 4 eyes and a measured tone. "Humans of Earth," it began, "the Galactic Council wishes to understand the events in your sector. Reports suggest your species has developed unprecedented technology. We request a meeting to discuss terms and intentions." Luke leaned forward. "We are willing to talk, but understand this: humanity will not be threatened or controlled. We seek peace if it is possible, but we will defend ourselves with everything we have. You have seen what our fleet can do. Do not mistake caution for weakness." The alien nodded slowly. "We understand, Captain Harper, but know that the Council is divided. Some fear your species. Some seek to study your technology. Negotiations may be difficult, but your strength is recognized." As discussions began, Luke realized that humans had gained something more than military power. They had earned attention, respect, and a position at the table. Species that had ignored humanity for centuries now treated them as equals, or as a threat to be reckoned with. In the following weeks, the Council sent delegates from multiple species to study human technology. Luke oversaw demonstrations of the dark matter fleet's capabilities. Ships moved with unmatched speed, weapons discharged with precision, and crew coordination was flawless. Aliens watched in awe, some in disbelief. Mason whispered to Clara as they observed the Council representatives, "They didn't think we could do it." "They really didn't expect this," Clara nodded. "They never do. Humans are unpredictable, clever, and bold. That is why we survive." Olivia added, "Captain, some council members are proposing alliances instead of war. They want humans as partners rather than enemies. This is a chance to influence the galaxy positively." Luke smiled faintly. "Exactly. Humans survive not just by fighting, but by thinking ahead. We show strength, we build trust, and we make sure others respect our place in the galaxy. That is what makes us different." Not everyone welcomed humanity's rise. Certain factions within the council continued to plot. They underestimated humans, believing that brute force could solve the problem. Luke anticipated this. The fleet conducted constant patrols and drills, always prepared for sudden attacks. One day, intelligence detected a small strike team moving toward human-controlled space. Luke convened his officers. "They are testing us, likely a scout or sabotage team." "We cannot let them succeed. We act now," Mason grinned. "Let them try, they won't catch us. We know the tricks they don't." The fleet deployed swiftly. Dark matter ships moved faster than the council vessels could track. The strike team was intercepted before reaching human territory. The humans disabled the ships without unnecessary casualties, demonstrating precision and discipline. Luke debriefed the crew afterward. "We did not just defend our space. We showed that humans are capable, controlled, and powerful. The galaxy will think twice before testing us again. This is how humans survive and thrive." Weeks later, the Council convened a full assembly to address humanity's rise. Alien leaders debated fiercely, some advocating cooperation, others warning against the human threat. Reports of the fleet's victories and advanced technology had reached every corner of the galaxy. The debate was long, heated, and tense. Luke watched from his ship, knowing the outcome would affect generations. He had proven that humans were not weak, and now it was time to secure their place. Humanity had gained more than military power, it had earned recognition. Finally, the Council agreed to a new treaty. Humans would have recognized territories, trade rights, and a voice in galactic decisions. In return, humans pledged to avoid unprovoked attacks, maintaining peace unless directly threatened. Luke felt a quiet satisfaction. "This is more than a victory," he said to Olivia and Alex. "We have ensured humanity's future. We have shown the galaxy that humans are clever, resilient, and unstoppable when necessary." Olivia smiled. "We've done what others thought impossible, and we did it together." Alex nodded. "The fleet is ready for anything, but I hope it won't be needed. We've made our point." Mason added, "Still, I wouldn't mind a few more drills. These ships are amazing, and I want to see them tested." Clara laughed. "We've done enough testing for now. Let's enjoy the fact that humans are finally being taken seriously." Luke stood at the bridge window, looking at the stars. He thought of the rift, of the first discoveries, and of the long months of work to build the fleet. Humanity had faced uncertainty, danger, and doubt, but they had succeeded. Humans had survived, adapted, and risen. The galaxy would remember this moment. Species that had underestimated humans would no longer do so. Humans had earned respect, fear, and attention. They had proven that intelligence, courage, and creativity could overcome brute strength and centuries of doubt. Luke Harper allowed himself a small smile. The fleet floated silently, dark matter cores humming gently. Humanity's place in the galaxy had changed forever. The Council had been shocked, their assumptions overturned. And for the first time, humans knew that they could face anything the stars held. Far beyond human space, other species whispered the same words. "Do not underestimate humans. They are different. They are dangerous. They are unstoppable." Luke watched the stars, feeling pride, hope, and determination. This was only the beginning. Humanity had sent shockwaves across the Galactic Council, but the future was still full of challenges, discoveries, and adventures. And he knew with absolute certainty that humans would meet them head-on, with courage, intelligence, and boldness. For the first time in galactic history, humans were no longer small, weak, or overlooked. They were a force to be reckoned with, and the galaxy had been warned.